everybody, welcome back to the wood shop again today. Now we've got a simple little project for you this time that don't cost very much to make and takes very little materials.
My mom has a very special blanket, a family heirloom, but no way to display it. So for her birthday, we're going to make a blanket ladder.
Like I said, it's very simple and inexpensive to make. All you need is 2.5 2x4s. We're going to be using a miter saw, a table saw, and a 16 gauge nail gun.
So the first thing we need to do is measure out 6 feet on 2 of our 2x4s. We're going to take those over to the miter saw, give them a cut, and then we'll start working on our rungs. Now it's time to measure and mark the rungs for our ladder. We're going to have 4. They're going to be 17 inches wide. When we count in the rails of the ladder, it will be a total of 20 inches. So it's a really great size for any space, really.
Okay, for the next step in this project, I'm going to use the table saw and take 1/4 inch off the sides of each piece of wood, make them good and square, and make them all 3 inches wide. Alright, now all of our edges are squared off and looking good. You could go ahead and nail all this together right now and you'd be just fine. But I tend to overcomplicate things most of the time. So I'm going to cut a bevel in each side of these rails to come in and meet the rungs. Well, now we have our bevels, and if you'll notice how I did this, on the front side of the rail, the side that's going to be facing you, I did a longer bevel here than I did on the side that faces toward the wall. That way the rungs will be set back farther toward the wall. Now I started this with the fence at 1 inch, and for the back one, I started with the fence set at 1 3/16 with a 30-degree bevel. So if you want to copy this exact design, you can. But if you don't, you can make it symmetrical and put it right in the center if you want.
Before we put our ladder together, we are going to do a couple of rounds of sanding. This is pretty rough right now. This is just dimensional lumber from the big box store. So we're going to start with some 120, step it up to 220. It's going to take us a little bit, so stick around and see how smooth we can get this. As you can see, we've now finished sanding all the pieces for the ladder. It's nice and smooth at 220 grit. It's going to accept the stain really well. Tell them what we're going to use to assemble our ladder.
We're going to be using some wood glue and the 16 gauge finish nailer with 2.5 inch nails.
The first thing we need to do is measure and mark the rails to see exactly where we want the rungs to be placed. Let's go ahead and get started.
Alright, our first rung will be 4 inches from the top. Make a little mark there that we can sand off. Each rung after that we're going to put on a 16 inch center. As you can see, our blanket ladder is fully assembled and ready for the stain.
Now today we're going to be using a gel stain. It's something we've used before. It saves a little bit of time. It has some polyurethane in it. This is in the color Mission Oak, but definitely feel free to finish the ladder however you would like. You can use a regular penetrating stain. You can use a coat of paint and do some distressing on it. It's going to be functional no matter how you finish it. So definitely have fun with it and use your imagination.
Well, here we are. Our stain is now dry and we have our finished product.
We really like the way this blanket ladder turned out. The stain gives it a nice rustic feel, which we think will complement Mom's heirloom quite nicely.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's really inexpensive. It's simple to make. You don't have to go into all these bevels and stuff if you don't want to. It's totally up to you.
If you enjoyed this project, be sure to check out all our other videos here on our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button for everything that we're bringing your way. We're also on Facebook at Wood Songs by Russell, so meet us over there. Thanks again for joining us. Happy woodworking!